Upbeat intro music. You know, sometimes in sports, you hear about injuries that just make you scratch your head. Like, how does a professional athlete, someone who's supposed to be in peak physical condition, end up sidelined by a scooter accident? Twice. That's exactly what's happening with Harrison Bader and the Giants right now, and honestly, this story raises so many fascinating questions about accountability, contract obligations, and even the psychology of professional athletes. Let me break this down. So here's the quick setup. Harrison Bader, an outfielder for the Giants, was already dealing with plantar fasciitis, the same foot injury that's been keeping him out since May. But then, over the weekend, he apparently crashed a scooter into a fire truck. A fire truck. And not only did this delay his recovery timeline, but the Giants have now decided to suspend his salary until he's back on the field. No paycheck while he's sidelined because of this accident. That's wild, right? But wait, this isn't even his first scooter incident. Back in 2014, during his college days, he had an alcohol-related scooter crash that got him suspended for 19 games. So this isn't just a random accident, it's a pattern. And the Giants are basically saying, we're not paying you to injure yourself off the field. Let's unpack this. First off, why would a team even have the right to suspend payments like this? The answer lies in contract clauses, specifically, conduct detrimental clauses that let teams withhold pay if a player's actions are deemed reckless or self-inflicted. But here's what's interesting, this isn't just some obscure rule. Teams use this more often than you'd think, especially with players who have a history of, let's call it questionable life choices. But the flip side? This could backfire. If Bader feels punished or singled out, does that create tension between him and the organization? Could this affect his performance, or his willingness to hustle, when he does return? I mean, imagine being told you're not getting paid, because your employer thinks you're careless. That's gotta sting. And then there's the bigger issue of athlete behavior. Look, we're not talking about a freak accident during training here. This is a guy who's now had 2 major injuries caused by personal decisions, one involving alcohol back in college, and now another one that, let's be honest, sounds avoidable. So should teams be responsible for injuries that happen off the field? Or does this open a Pandora's box, where clubs start policing every single thing athletes do in their free time? Where do we draw the line? If a player gets hurt snowboarding in the off-season, should they lose pay? What about if they are in a car crash caused by speeding? This case might seem cut and dry, but it's actually a slippery slope. But here's what really fascinates me, the optics of this for both Bader and the Giants. For Bader, this can't be great for his reputation. He's already dealing with chronic injuries, and now this looks like carelessness. Fair or not, teams might start viewing him as a liability, not just physically, but mentally. Are we seeing a trend where his decision-making outside the game is undermining his career? And for the Giants, they're sending a clear message, we're holding players accountable for their own actions. But does that make them look strict and principled, or just penny-pinching and unsympathetic? Fans might split on this. Some will say, he should have known better, while others might argue, he's hurt, show some compassion. Then there's the elephant in the room, the MLB Players Association. They haven't commented yet, but you can bet they're not happy about this. If they challenge the payment suspension, this could turn into a major labor issue. Is the Giants' stance here legally solid? Maybe. But it could also set a precedent that teams might exploit in the future. Imagine a world where clubs start docking pay every time a player gets hurt in a way they deem preventable. That could spiral fast. And yet, from the team's perspective, they're spending millions on talent. They don't want to pay someone to not play because they are making bad decisions. It's a tough balance between player rights and organizational responsibility. So where does this leave us? Honestly, this story is more than just a quirky sports injury. It's a case study in the complex dance between athletes, teams, and personal accountability. And it makes me wonder, should off-field behavior ever impact a player's paycheck? Or is this just a distraction from the real issue? Maybe teams need to be more cautious about signing players with a history of these kinds of incidents. Either way, Harrison Bader's situation is a reminder that being a pro athlete isn't just about skill, it's about managing your entire life under a microscope. What do you think? Drop your takes in the comments. Would you support teams withholding pay for self-inflicted injuries? Or is this crossing a line? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Outro music.